So, new David Kibbe's book and new way how to find your image identity. If we compare this book to his first book, Metamorphosis, in that one he was doing this test. What is your shoulder shape? What is the shape of your hips, your waist, your overall figure, your facial features, your nose, your eyes, your lips, your proportions, how tall, how small you are. And I'm sure over the years, David Kibbe observed so many women mistaking their image ID, whether they were not objective enough about different parts of their body. And another reason for that was that, yes, we're looking on different parts of your body, but we're still looking at all of them, trying to get a full picture. So he worked out another way on how to find your body structure. It's called Sketch. And they were doing those sketches on his Facebook group. So let's just dive in and see what exactly he's saying about this in his new book. Part 1, define your dominant. So there's just one dominant characteristic about you. You whether vertical dominant or curve dominant. If you're 5'6" and over, you automatically have vertical dominant. How to define it? First, I'm going to ask you to take a photo of yourself. Then you're going to superimpose a sketch of how the imaginary fabric falls on your photo. Just follow the instructions. Don't do this in the mirror. It has to be a photo of yourself. Now, standing in a relaxed, neutral pose, take a full-length photo, full frontal, from about 10 feet away at chest height. Let your arms hang straight down at your sides and keep your feet about 3 inches apart. Either use your phone camera or, if you prefer, have a friend take this. What I do, I normally place my front camera and put the video there. Several steps away, video myself, and then I just do a screenshot on my phone when I'm standing straight. You're going to see how the imaginary fabric of silk chiffon weighted at the bottom will either hang straight down from your shoulder or get pushed out and around the flesh of your body. So on your photos, starting at the edge of the shoulder where it meets the upper arm, let the fabric fall down. Whether it hangs straight down or whether the bust, hip area pushes the fabric out and around them is what you want to sketch. Note, this is not an outline of your body. We're looking only to see where your body pushes the imaginary fabric out or does not. The fabric, being silk chiffon, skims the body. It is not a form-fitting line. The fabric will either do one or the other. It will either hang straight down from the shoulder or be pushed out and around by the bust and hips. Then it is up to you to simply report what your sketch shows. If the line moves relatively straight down, your dominant is vertical. If it got pushed out by the bust and hip, your dominant is curve. Note, do not refer to your body or your body parts here. Only report what is shown by the sketch itself. Remember, the point of this is to learn what you need to accommodate in a complementary silhouette. If you are 5'6" or over, you are an automatic vertical. If you drew curves, that may be your additional, but for now you need to identify your dominant as vertical. You may also have vertical at any height under 5'6". To have curve as your dominant, you must be under 5'6", though it is not automatic at this height, but you may not be over this height to have curve as your dominant. This is about defining your personal line. It has nothing to do with how you think you appear or what is considered tall, short, or anything in between. Now, part 2, define your additional. Here on this sketch, we can see 5 verticals. There's 5 image identities, 5 body types that are vertical. So, and the other 5 are the curves. Then we need to find an additional. And what is your additional will determine what your image identity actually is. How to define your additional. The red outline reiterates your dominant, while the additional is outlined in the blue superimposed on the red, as well as the area labeled where it occurs. Note that blue both has the area involved outlined as well as is pointed out with dots and arrows to show you clearly exactly where the secondary occurs on the body. This area outlined is the only area affected by your secondary. Let's look at the verticals first. If your dominant characteristic is vertical and additional is narrow, and fabric just goes down, nothing pushes it upwards, and you have this just narrow vertical line, nothing is wider than the rest of your body. It just goes straight from the shoulder here to the bottom. So if you're vertical and narrow, you are dramatic type. Young, extreme, sharp. Now, if you're dominant characteristic is still vertical, but you also have width up here, then you are vertical plus width. Width comparing to the rest of your body. So that top part of your body has to be wider than the rest. So when the fabric is gonna be lying on your shoulders, it's just gonna fall down. It's gonna be wider here. If we have this vertical plus width, that is flamboyant natural type. So that is young, bold, blunt. Now, if you still have vertical as dominant, but your additional line is curved, that means that the fabric sits on your shoulders, then it's being pushed outwards by your bust, by your hips. Then it's called vertical plus curve. And this is a soft, dramatic type. It's yang with a pronounced yin undercurrent. Those curves are yin. There's another vertical type, which additional is balance. It still doesn't have that extra width on top, for example, comparing to the lower part of your body. So that is certain balance between top and the bottom. You see on these blue dots that he put there, and the top blue dots are not further apart from each other than bottom blue dots, and I think this is what he means. So we have to train our eyes to see that, to imagine how different types of clothes are gonna sit on this particular body. As I understand, these women can be straighter sometimes in the figure. They might have wider waist or narrower waist, but this is where we're looking at. And it is vertical plus balance. And this type is called dramatic classic. It's balanced with young influence. Now we have last vertical one left, and its secondary characteristic is petite. Now, vertical plus petite is just the person has this vertical line within smaller frame. With these blue dots, he's trying to show us that the fabric is not being pushed outwards. It's just lying straight from the shoulders down. So this is vertical plus petite, and this type is called flamboyant gamine. Combination of opposites plus extra yang. Now let's go to curve dominant types. It's also 5 of them. If your secondary characteristic is double curve, so your curve plus double curve. Double curve means the fabric is pushed outwards on top and on the bottom in the hip area too. And he shows us with these blue dots where exactly we have to put our attention when we're looking at this imaginary fabric that is falling down the body, how it's going to be pushed outwards slightly in this area, and then it's going to go back to the body, and then it's going to push outwards with the bottom part of the body, so with the hip area too. So those are 2 circles, one on top of another. So this is why when the woman is over 5'6", she has automatic vertical line, because she can't have those circles on top of each other anymore. Those circles will be maximum like ovals already, something elongated. So that's gonna look different. The silhouette is different. So when you have curve and double curve, you are romantic. This is yin, extreme, soft. Next one. If you are curve dominant, but your secondary characteristic is narrow, this is approximately the sketch you're gonna get. He says blue dots show exactly where the secondary occurs in the body. This area outlined is the only area affected by your secondary. So this is where you look to find your secondary. Blue dots are showing that area. So when you think that you might be curve plus narrow, you have to look on your shoulder area. So it's gonna be narrow here in this area. And you're gonna look at the hip area. It's also gonna be narrow in your hip area. But in red, you can see that the fabric is still pushed outwards in a certain places. And if you're curve and narrow, you are theatrical romantic. This is yin with yang undercurrent. If you have curve as dominant and your secondary is width, so this is the sketch we're getting. So put your attention first on red outline, and then it's gonna fall down. Blue area is where we should look for a secondary. We can see slight width on top here. So curve plus width is soft natural, is yang with a yin undercurrent. Next one, if curve is still your dominant but your secondary is balance, how can you understand that? Now look at that sketch. In red we can see that the fabric is still pushed outwards slightly. It goes around some slight curves. But now look at that blue area. So we can see that here on the shoulders and here at the hips, there's no extra narrowness, no extra width. It's very symmetrical, it's very balanced. Top 2 blue dots, they're not too far from each other. They're not wider than bottom blue dots. And this is the area we should look at in this case. So if we have curve plus balance, this is soft classic, balanced with a yin influence. And last but not least, we have curve dominant, and then the secondary is petite. So if we look at that sketch, we can see that the red outline shows us that the fabric just goes slightly around the curves, it pushes outwards. And now you can look at this blue area, and he shows us that she has this petite frame along with those curves. And all these curve dominant are under 5'6", of course, but this one has just petite frame. There's some shortness about all this. So curve plus petite is soft gamin, combination of opposites plus extra yin. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to show you today. I think it's very interesting. Let me know, guys, in the comments if you did the sketch. How did it go? I found this very interesting that he really simplified that to just looking at certain area of your body. One thing that is missing here is facial features. I'm also very happy to announce that I'm having several beauty courses soon. My first beauty course is gonna be beauty basics, of course, and then we're gonna go deeper and we'll make you a real pro in that subject, because without seeing the difference in small nuances and elements, you won't be able to be a pro. Even if it's a pro for yourself, it's gonna include everything, because my strong point is that I'm a specialist in all these areas. I can do nail extensions professionally. I can do beautiful, perfect manicures and pedicures for anyone. I know how to color pretty much anyone's hair. I know the formulas. I even sometimes when women ask me for advice, I know which formula to ask for when they go to a hairdresser, and that works. I know about haircuts. I know about geometry of hair. I know about different hair textures. I know about facial features. I know all the makeup techniques that exist, and I know which face requires a certain makeup technique, not like doing same makeup for everyone. And I know about clothes, about shoes, about silhouettes, and about body types, and I know the history of arts and history of fashion. And plus, to all of that, I know the photography basics. So I know how the lighting should be, good angle or wrong angle, and this helps me to analyze what was caused by photography itself and what was caused by wrong hair color only or wrong makeup only. I really have a lot to tell. Train Our Eyes is going to be a lot of quizzes. Of course, I'm going to have a body types course and facial features course, and all that is coming soon. But the first course, which is a basis of the basics, is going to be beauty basics. As soon as it's ready, I'm going to leave the links under all of my videos and also on the comment sections down below. And if you have any questions, please ask me in the comment section. I will definitely do a separate videos to answer some of them. Thank you. Bye bye.